What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AB Investments. Hopefully, you're enjoying the weather, and it's amazing here, at least in the Midwest. And hopefully, it's the same way over where you're at. In this on this fine day, in this fine life, and what a coincidence that we are on this earth at the same time throughout the timeline of this earth. I don't know. I don't want to sound cheesy, so let's go ahead and move on with the video. What am I talking about over here? Again, hopefully you're enjoying the weekend. You're supposed to be. When the market is off, you're supposed to be off as well. Be with your family, be with whoever you love, and enjoy your time. Do the things that you like and love, and basically have your time off from the market. Otherwise, you're gonna get brain fried. Constantly being on Twitter, reading with what people are reporting and saying, and it's very scary because I'm seeing people. CPI data got reported, and then I'm already seeing people send in other people who they hold to a higher degree. Unfortunately, as soon as that person reports the CPI data article or something, the very next question, or the very many next questions, is filled with people saying, so what do you think? Like, what? Come on, guys. You got to read that stuff for yourself. And if you don't, you have to jump into learning how to read this stuff. You can't because every narrative is always redirected from one person to another. We all are not supposed to agree with each other, but we all are supposed to get along with each other in this world, in this life. And similar to the market, doesn't mean if you hold somebody to a higher degree, that means they're always correct. And you have to understand that we are all students at the end of the day in this world, or in this life, in this game, in the stock market, in the planet, whatever, in life. So enjoy your time when it comes to your off time like this from your other job as well. Enjoy your time. Even if you're a full-time trader, day trader, whatever, just trader, investor, on the weekends, have your fun, because on the weekday, it's back to work in the market. So now that you see that everybody is making content, especially about the bank runs now and everything, guess what? I told you this when the CPI data came out. What was special in this CPI data was telling you that hey, while the inflation went down from 6 to 5 a month over month, but in the same time, the core CPI data went up. So it's technically, we didn't go to any better place. Like, this only shows that when this FOMC meeting happens this upcoming month, as I gave you last week a window saying from now till that meeting, anticipate some crazy shit to happen, especially like with banks and bank runs. Now people are seeing it, and now people are even talking about why there will be a mild recession slash they will give you words like this where it's like, hey, it's mild recession, but really it's not gonna be no mild stuff. No recession is gonna be no mild one. There's never been no such thing as a mild recession. Like, everything that comes always hurts. If you're not used to it, if it's negative, it's always bad. There's no such thing as something that is, oh, this is gonna be a mild depression, like, oh, this is bad news, but this is going to be mild bad news for you. Bad news are bad news. Okay. And there's the growing fears now of also this whole crap with World War III. God forbid that something happens, because that alters everything and everything. That alters even the whole idea of stock market in general. So let's pray that something like that does not occur before we get our freaking tendies and all that stuff. And it's really important, brothers and sisters, to understand the importance of understanding where you're moving to. People are really, like, after 2.5 almost 3 years, like for me, again, September of this year, September 2023, it will be 3 years fully in this play. People are really, like, I'm seeing it around. People are really jumping to the whole fundamental bandwagon, understanding that fundamentals matter as far as the company coexistence for the future. But this play was never, like, it's turning to, apparently, with some individuals, not for all, with some members in this community, but it was never about no fucking fundamental play. This was never that. This is a short, freaking squeezed MOAS play. That's what the essence of this play was. Otherwise, you wouldn't have 4.5 million people who came in. That lie to people tell you on these YouTube videos or lives or channels. We came together because we love the movie theaters and all this stuff. Hey, I love movie theaters too. But at the end of the day, I love my finances and my money and my family a whole lot more. If AMC closes its doors at some point, hopefully after we get our attendees, it's gonna be upsetting, but my life is not gonna stop, and so is yours. It's not gonna stop. So let's beat around the bullshit and let's be straightforward, okay? So when these people that are telling you, oh yeah, it's okay, it's good, fundamental, we need the money, and 10 to 1 and converge, all that stuff, they're technically telling you, and then at the same time they ended up with, we still can have our short squeeze, or we need our MOAS. That's basically how you could read through for me, this is how you read through the bullshit. And it's important to understand, family, that, hey, just because someone is very good articulatory on knowing how to articulate on things and speak through, and I've told you this word before, voice of reason, and a couple of things that they read through books or whatever, that does not make them correct, and specifically doesn't always make them always correct as well. No one is. In the same time, just because someone doesn't know how to articulate on their idea or their point, or they don't come off very fan-like, let's put it that way, that does not make them wrong. Just because you can't appeal to them, or you can't gravitate to them because of their approach or their style or their way of how they go about it, does not make them wrong individuals, does not make them wrong people. It's at the end of the day, you're the grown adult who is supposed to distinguish between these things. Where do you stand? And when it comes to this play now, where do you stand? Do you stand on the fundamental side, or do you stand on this MOAS side? Because again, not to make divisions or sides or any of this stuff, but it's important for you, because it's an investment. Like it's like going to school. What college are you going to go to? You can't just say I'm going to school. You got to go somewhere. You undecided? Okay. But eventually you're moving somewhere. You're going to have to make a choice to where you're going, to what direction you're moving toward. Because if you're looking for a run-up, random run-ups, I've told you guys this in previous videos, if the yes goes through and it gets finalized, no problem. AMC is super, messed with to the point where it will have its run-up no matter what. In fact, the reason why they're doing this is so they can have access to real shares to cover, which means you will have run-ups. But I'm not going to be the fool holding for MOAS, because ask your favorite fundamentalists. Ask them, hey, what will happen to the short interests? What will happen to the cost to borrow? When all these shares get converged over from Ape, God knows who's loading up on it. I've showed you videos on who loads up on all this on Ape, so they can utilize the arbitrage opportunity. So you got to make a choice. And if don't ever let any con man ever con you out of your feelings and your thoughts that, hey, well, we're going to close down. We're going to go bankrupt if we don't. And in the same time, you rather have this or this. But in the same time, they tell you MOAS. So they live by and enjoy the benefits of the MOAS slogan, but they speak something completely different. And at the end of the day, either of the, whether it's MOAS or fundamental run-up, their personal causes are met, and their personal causes are obviously are breached and accomplished. And that's where you got to worry about the distinguishing between this and that. And then, lastly, I'll end the video with this, and I'll speak more on this. If you put down in the comments any questions, I'd love to answer them. But I will always say this lastly. If you listen to anything that AB says, and any other content creator says. At the end of the day, we all claim the Fifth Amendment. In this movement, the Fifth Amendment is, I'm not a financial advisor. Neither are we. However, if you go from one non-financial advice giver to another non-financial advice giver, it's tough that you take one person's saying to the other and expect them to say something like, so for what I'm trying to get to, it's not fair that you would take something that AB would say and go to try to run it by somebody that clearly can't stand AB's guts, I don't know why, and expect them to give you an honest answer, because not everybody has values or ethics, you know? So I'll tell you, it's only fair that you run this by both. If you're going to go this route, always run it by both for your benefit, for your best interest. It's like going to Trump and asking him to say good things about Biden, or going to Biden and ask him vice versa to say good things about Trump. It's not going to happen. So, but at least since it's public, both could hear about it and they can respond about it. And the questions are asked. You ask the questions, you dictate, but you got to go about the process correctly. Otherwise, it's a failed experiment. You're going to let something inside of you that is completely wrong. You know, you might be influenced, or something might have made sense that XYZ might have said. And then you come to AB and ask him about it. And then AB might not agree with it and says his piece. But just because AB at that point had the last say, now you completely discredit XYZ. That's very childish and stupid. And for your best interest, I'm just letting you know that there's better ways to go about it. Always ask and excavate and search and do all the steps necessary to make sure that you get to what really is best for your best interest and for your own investment. Because at the end of the day, as I told you guys before, no matter how many sides the whole movement see there is in this, most important voice in all of it is your own. And ultimately, the side that matters is the side that you choose to be on, because there will ultimately be just two sides. Moa's side, fundamental / run-up side. And this is just my humble opinion on it. I will take care of myself, and I don't owe anybody anything, and neither do any of you owe anybody anything. Take care of yourself, and I will catch you on Monday, or maybe tomorrow, but most likely on Monday for another episode. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer them, and I won't be talking so much abroad or general. Much love, AB Investments.